Hello my fashion lovers, welcome to today's tutorial. On today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to sew a princess cut bustier with an illusion neckline. The illusion neckline is going to serve as the yoke for the bustier. And on the fold, you are folding with the biggest part of your upper body. The biggest part of my upper body is the bust divided by 4, which is 9. Then you add your sewing allowance. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe, click on the notification bell to be notified anytime I post a new video. To cut the bustier with the illusion neckline, the length I'm working with is 17 plus 1 inch sewing allowance, that is 18 inches for the length. The length I'm working with is length 18 and 17 plus 1 inch sewing allowance, making it 18. From my shoulder to my bust point is 10.5. On the bust is 14 inches, and my waistline plus the 1 inch sewing allowance, I'll rule it out. The shoulder I'm working with is 15. The shoulder I'm working with is 15 divided by 2 to give me 7.5. We put it here. I will take my 1 inch shoulder slope, then take my armhole. I'll be taking 8 inches for the armhole. I'll connect it. On the neckline, because I'm going to take a boat neck, so I'll be taking 5 inches for the boat neck and 4 inches at the down part. Now connect. Then I'll connect the shoulder slope of 1 inch. The nipple to nipple measurement I'm working with is 3.5 inches plus half inch sewing allowance to make it 4. I will impute it down to the waistline. On this bust point, I'll come down by 1 inch and I'll go up by 1 inch. I'll come down by 1 inch and go down by 1 inch. This is the bust point, this is the under bust, and this is the waistline. On the under bust, I'll be taking 1 inch on both sides. 1 inch, because the bust I'm working with is a small bust. If you're working with a big bust, you can take 1.5 inches, but here I'm working with 1 inch, and I will connect. Connect it down to the waistline. On the upper part, I will get the middle of my armhole. The middle of my armhole is 8 inches divided by 2 will give me 4. And I will come in by quarter inch. I'll come in by quarter inch. And I'll connect to this one I came up with. I'll connect to this place. Connect with your curve. On this part, I'll be taking half inch on this part. Now this part, I'll be taking half inch on this part, and I'll connect. Depending on what you want to achieve, you can equally take 1 inch on both sides, depending on what you want to achieve. For the illusion neckline, depending on how wide you want it to be. Some people want it to stop at the underbust, but I'm going to take it down to the waist. On this waist, I want the wideness to be 1 inch, so I'll be taking half inch on this side. When I open it up, it's going to be 1 inch. On this side, I'll be taking 1 inch on this side, and I'll connect it down. Connect the two lines. Then, for the upper part, I'll connect it down to this half inch I took here. So this is my illusion neckline. When I cut it out, you will see it. The bust I'm working with is 36. Divided by 4 will give me 9. I will take 9 here. Plus my sewing allowance, you can add, depending on what you're working with. You can add 3, 2, depending on what you want. The underbust is 32. Divided by 4 will give me 8. And this 2 inches I'm going to cut out from here, I'm going to add it up. Plus my sewing allowance of 2 inches. On the waistline, the waist I'm working with is 28. Divided by 4 will give me 7. I'll mark it here. Plus these 2 inches I'm going to cut out, I'll add it up. Plus my sewing allowance of 3 inches. I'll connect. On this place, I'll connect this point to my, I'll connect it with a curved ruler. On this part, I'm going to connect my armhole. The half inches I deducted from the both sides, I'm going to add it up. I'm going to add it up to avoid shortage. And I'll connect to my armhole. I'll connect to my armhole. So this is our illusion neckline. So let's cut. Let's cut. With this, we're going to use it to cut on the fabric. Make sure you cover out your hand. Cover out your hand. Need to cut out the illusion neckline. So this is what we have. This is what we have. We're going to cut it on the fabric. When you open it up, this is what you have. This is what we have. So we're going to cut on the fabric. We're going to cut on the fabric to join. So after cutting it on the fabric, this is what we have. Make sure you leave your ½ inch sewing allowance. You wish to join it, ½ inch joining allowance. And make sure you notch so that you know where your bust point is and your underbust. Notch the sides to know where your bust and your underbust is, so that when you're joining, it's easier to join. I'll show you how you're going to join it. The same way you cut your fabric, that is the same way you're going to cut your lining. The same way you cut your fabric, that is the same way you're going to line it. So you're going to take it to your machine, open it up. You're going to open it up. You're going to stitch by the side, stitch by the side. Then after stitching, stitch the two sides together. Can you see what I have here? You're going to start sewing from the under part. And if you're going to line it, if you want to pad it, you're going to pad it. This is where your padding will be, on this side and on this side, at the middle. The same way you cut this fabric, that is the same way you're going to cut the padding. Please, if you like to see the padding of this blouse, please put in the comment section. We're going to sew it, sew this side, then join. Let me join and show you. After fixing one side, join your lining the same way you join the first side. Then turn your fabric. Then you're going to attach your lining. You're going to attach your lining and flip it over to this side. You're going to sew your lining here, attach your lining and flip it over to this side to cover up the sewing. And you're going to do the same thing to this side. You're going to do the same thing to this side. You sew. After sewing, make sure you iron it very well. Iron it very well. Then on this side, you can decide to stop stitch. Then sew your lining the same way you sew this, and use it to cover up this side. If you want to pad it, cut your pad to this shape and this side and join it together the same way you join the fabric. And when you open it up, this is what we have. You iron it very well to bring out the beauty. Please subscribe, click on the notification bell to be notified anytime I post a new video. You can ask your question in the comments section. Ask your question in the comments section and I will be there to answer you. Without padding, can you see how it's even standing without padding it? Can you see how it's standing without padding? Alright, see you next time. Bye-bye.